Jason Davis and Chris Korte with you, ready to talk about the UPSL National Finals coming for the fall 2024 season. Yeah, we still got to get them done, even though we're in 2025. We've got a team already booked for the National Finals, Chris, but I know there are 3 games left to play to determine the rest of the Final Four. What we got so far?
Yeah, that's right. So Foot Ohio just defeated Bridge SC out of Maryland, a local club for me. But Foot Ohio, they've been playing well all season out the Midwest, obviously the Ohio area. But those guys have their spots booked. They won on PKs just about a little over a month ago. And so we have 3 more teams that are going to confirm their place. And then we're off to California for the national finals.
I think we should probably start. I mean, as is just and right, we should start with the defending champions. They got a shot to make the Final Four again. They got a shot to go back to back. So the spring champions, Soda City, are here. Who are they playing? How'd they get here?
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I don't think we've had a team ever win the national finals back to back. So we'll see if Soda City can do it. But they've just been having a brilliant season all year long. One of the few undefeated teams in the entire league. They still haven't lost. They've got last season's national finals MVP Lamar Thompson on hot form. He's got 12 goals this season. So they're just a well-oiled machine. They're going to keep pushing, and I think these guys have a real shot to be the first UPSL team to maybe win it twice in a row. They've had an interesting journey so far. Those guys out of Columbia, South Carolina, they've taken down a top team called Kalanji Pro Profile out of Atlanta, Georgia. So who knows who can stop these Soda City team in red hot form right now? But we'll see. They're taking on Current FC, a group out of Florida. They finished 4th in the Florida Central Conference, but they've been in great form since the playoffs started. They've lost twice in the regular season, but honestly, since the playoffs started, they've been taking down some big opponents. They've defeated Little Haiti, who have one of the best teams in Florida. OFC Barca are known to produce a couple of La Liga signings in the past couple of years, and they've also defeated one of the another undefeated side, FC America Spurs, who also are a U.S. Open Cup team. So this Current FC team, they're going to have a lot of belief going into this game against Soda City, those Giants over there, the reigning national champions. But it should be a pretty good matchup because they're hitting their stride at the perfect time.
I mean, what do they say? You got to get hot in the playoffs. That's how you win championships when you do a playoff tournament. Should mention George Trifo, Soda City co-head coach, saying we don't feel too much pressure. We take it one game at a time. We're confident and calm. We try to play balance between attack and defense and take our chances on the counter and finish our chances. Sounds like a recipe for success and for making potentially another national final. But, of course, again, trying to get past Current FC out of Florida, who has just knocked off some of those giants. All right, so that's one matchup in the quarterfinal to try to get to a semi. What else we got? What's happening out west?
Right, so out west, our always favorite, Alessandro Del Piero, his team out there in Los Angeles, LA10 FC. These guys actually just got promoted last season from Division One to Premier Division. So these guys are a very ambitious group. Of course, they're connected with Juventus Academy out in Los Angeles, kind of like their feeder team. So this is their men's team connected to that organization. So they've got the backing from Alessandro. They've got a great youth system in place, and I think they've picked up some great players in the offseason, and they hope to make a push for the national title. I mean, this team has been scoring a lot of goals, a few close games, but once again, we have a star striker in the form of Christian Buckner. He's got double-digit goals this season, and he's going to be the main man moving forward the rest of the tournament, as well as a couple of other key players in midfield and defense. So I actually talked to Alessandro just the other day. He's confident in his group. They've got a new head coach, Leon Scharf, and the entire LA10 organization, he says, is training tirelessly. They're all focused on this big goal of theirs, which is to win the national championship in a record amount of time in the UPSL. They've only just been in the league a couple of seasons, really. But Alessandro tells me their goal is to compete for the national title. They want to bring home the trophy, but they're focused on one step at a time. So you're going to kind of see this similar approach by a lot of these coaches that get to this stage. A lot of them don't want to get too excited by the moment. They want to stay humble. They want to stay in the moment. They want to take one game at a time because in this knockout playoff format, you never know what could happen game to game. So it's important these guys stay in focus.
Yeah, I mean, that LA10 and Eastlake Soccer, who they knocked off 1-0 in that last round on a penalty kick, narrow stuff. Obviously,
Yeah.
also should mention Southern California, LA, lots of things going on with the fires out there. So I imagine that has impacted
Yeah.
their campaign a little bit.
Yeah, unfortunately, these guys haven't been able to train that much in the last week or so. So we're going to go ahead and we've already decided to move that game back a week to give those guys more time to kind of prepare there. And it's only fair because they have a tough team they're going up against, FC Folsom. That's another undefeated team in the UPSL, and these guys, FC Folsom, they've just been tearing up the West region. They've won every game. I'm pretty sure they've only tied once all season. So another great statistic for you. This team has scored 36 goals in the last in 11 regular season matchups, and 19 of those have come from their striker Nathaniel Carrasco. So this is another team hitting fine form, and you're going to notice all these teams that are scoring goals. If you're able to score goals in volume during the regular season and carry that over into the playoffs, it's going to give your team a real good shot at getting deep into the playoffs. So, I'm looking forward to seeing this FC Folsom team against a very ambitious LA10 FC team.
Yeah, fascinating stuff with LAFC pushing hard. I know you and I have had a conversation with Alessandro and his partners, and the ambition out there for LA10 has been pretty remarkable. All right, so that is East and that is West. How about the middle of
Mhm.
the country? What we got in the middle of the country?
Yes, sir. So we've got a big matchup in our central region. We've got El Paso Rush versus Arkansas Wolves. So these are two teams. One's from Oklahoma, the other one's from El Paso, Texas. Um, you may not typically, maybe they go into the season, they weren't exactly favorites, but these guys have been slowly putting in work. Both of these teams, Arkansas Wolves, they finished second in the Oklahoma Arkansas Conference and have quietly become one of the best teams in the West. In their region, they've defeated a few top teams, one of them being Tulsa Athletic, a top team and a U.S. Open Cup regular. They've done that not once, but twice. They've defeated Tulsa Athletic. So these guys are confident in their attack. They've got 8 goals in the last 3 games. So and also one of the league's lowest goals against record. They've just conceded 7 all regular season long. So Arkansas Wolves are putting goals in on one end, and they're defending in the back and keeping goals out in the other. So they're going to go up against a pretty good El Paso Rush team, of course, backed by a huge youth soccer organization or global soccer organization called Rush Soccer. The connection being that Rush Soccer is headquartered in New York. They have almost about 100 youth clubs and professional soccer organization connections across the U.S. and the world. So they're backed by a pretty big organization. These guys are an ambitious group. They're representing Rush Soccer out in the El Paso area. And this team is not playing around. They've only lost once this season, and they've only conceded 1 goal in the last 3 playoff games. So I expect this to be a very close contest between two top Southwest teams. So shout out to Arkansas Wolves, who are putting a lot of good work and a lot of effort out in the Arkansas region, and El Paso Rush, who I think has a pretty good shot at representing Texas and doing the Central region proud by going far in this tournament.
Yeah, Arkansas getting past Murciélagos de Utah. I mean, I love some of these names in this
Yeah.
league, Chris. It is fascinating to see what these teams are doing down there. So Murciélagos falls to Arkansas, who pushes their way into that quarterfinal. You should mention that El Paso knocked off what 4-0 Soccer Club? No, I'm sorry, GFI Soccer Academy. GFI
Yeah,
Academy.
yeah.
I remember 4-0 from a previous playoff season. They've obviously done some good work out of Texas. So GFI got past them. El Paso Rush gets past GFI. And now we have a quarterfinal matchup with a berth in the national finals. I guess now that we've hit on the 3 games left and trying to join Foot Ohio in the finals, give me a sense of how the season has gone from the league's perspective. Obviously, always growing UPSL.
Yeah, I mean, like I always say, it gets tougher every season here in the UPSL. Teams are always coming in, and it's really hard to choose favorites at the beginning of the season. Really, honestly, because I would have had 4-0 up there for maybe going all the way. They had some good play in the U.S. Open Cup as well. Of course, it's hard to balance, UPSL playoff action and U.S. Open Cup and focusing on different things. So, it's hard to pick favorites every time we do this, and we always get surprises here. So. I'm really excited to see what Soda City can do. I think they've got a good shot. They're playing very well. They unfortunately took down another favorite team of mine, Kalanji Pro Profile, but these guys deserve to be here right now. And let's see if we can finally get another Florida team to come out and represent the national finals. I'm really really excited about our West region. These teams from California. We've got a classic matchup: Folsom LA10, NorCal versus SoCal. So I'm excited. I wouldn't necessarily say I expected to see these teams here, maybe apart from Soda City, But that's the way the UPSL is. It's one game you lose, you go home. So these playoffs are always exciting to watch, and yeah, we've got a few surprises here, and I expect to be surprised a few times more after this weekend.
Yeah, so we got the national finals coming up January 31st through February 2nd. Again, games coming in
Yeah.
the quarterfinals to get those teams into the semis. Chris, any other final thoughts here as you round up our playoff discussion ahead of what's coming?
Yeah, I'm super excited for these national finals. So, the fall 2024 national finals, we will be returning to Great Park in Irvine, California, where Orange County SC and the USL play. It's a beautiful facility out in Southern California. Of course, thoughts go out to everybody affected in those areas in Southern California, particularly the LA area with the events tragically occurring over there. But we're excited to come out, get the community together. We expect to reach out to all of our youth soccer contacts, get as many kids there as possible, just get the community excited about this, and hopefully see a local Southern California team do very well in the tournament and put on a show for that community out there. So excited to go back to that area, and it's always a great venue. That's why they call it Great Park.
All right, playoff soccer. What could be better than that? Thank you very much, Chris Korte, Jason Davis, getting ready for those UPSL quarterfinals.